Welcome to Book Bites with Maggie. My name is Maggie. I'm the Youth Services Assistant here at Napanee Public Library. Joining me today is Brittney Mowdy. We're coming to you live from the Napanee Public Library today with our virtual Reader's Advisory. This episode is going to talk about cookbooks and foodie memoirs. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a caveat. I'm not the cook in my house. So I picked more of like the books that have stories in them, but Brittney is like our resident cook. So we're a little bit lopsided here, but this is gonna be fun because I like to pick out books and then I hand the recipes off to my husband and say, hey, can you make this for me? I've been known to do that. So my books have a little bit more maybe story structure to them. Yours are more, well, you kind of got a combination, don't you?
I've got a mixture.
A mixture. So our cookbook collection, honestly, is probably the best that I have ever seen in any public library. So we always have fantastic cookbooks. I'm a big physical cookbook person. I like to look at those pictures, and if there's not a picture of what the end result's supposed to look like, I honestly don't even read the recipe. So
it doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother you? You just use your
imagination.
I guess I don't have one. If it doesn't look good, I don't give the recipe to Danielle to make. You know, well, to each their own.
Yes, that's why we have multiple ways.
Okay, so I was kind of looking through your stack here before we went live, and I noticed that you didn't pick up any of those, what are they called, cozy mysteries that are all featured around food. I feel like reading fiction that like really gets you in the mood for specific food would be fun, but I'm not a big mystery reader, so I need to try those.
Me neither.
But if you've read any of those specifically that you think Brittney or I should read, let us know in the comments. This can go both ways. We'll give you titles that we've read and that we are recommending, but by all means, you can leave comments for not only us to look at and see what we should be reading ourselves, but maybe anybody else that's out there viewing it might be interested in your titles as well. Okay, so you're gonna have way more than me. I'm gonna start with a couple and then I'm gonna let you do some and we'll do that. Okay, so this book came out last year, maybe this spring, I don't remember. So Hillary Burton Morgan, I recognized her from One Tree Hill, which is a TV show back from when I was in high school. I watched, I think, the first or the second season of that. So when I saw, oh, she's got a book, and I loved the cover of it. This is called The Rule Diaries, Love, Livestock, and Big Life Lessons Down on Mischief Farm. And I thought, well, that sounds really good, right? So this is actually more like a memoir biography, and it transitions through her teenage years, being an actress, and then into like her married life and the stepping away from Hollywood type story. But intermixed are so many of the recipes that her and her family enjoy. So it reads like a book, like a story, and it gives flashbacks to different parts of her life. But then she'll randomly throw in a recipe for her, what was it, pickled, I had to write this down because I had never heard of it. Pickled tomatoes. I've heard of a lot of things being pickled.
Yeah.
Tomatoes is never one of them. So that I thought was interesting. And then she also has her Dandelion Wine recipe in here. So it was just a really fun read for me. And even though I wasn't really on the up and up with everything that was going on in Hillary's current life, this was a fun book that I really enjoyed. And I even came back and I started making photocopies of some of these recipes that I have now at home in my recipe booklet. It does bring it all the way through the Harry Weinstein Me Too movement. So there is lots of current events things in this book as well. This book we currently have as a physical book, the one that I'm holding up. We have it as an ebook and an e-audio book on Libby and Overdrive. So if you are interested, let us know in the comments. We can set this aside for you, or you can sign into your Libby or Overdrive app. Use your Napanee Public Library card and your PIN. If you need help setting that up, let us know. We would be happy to help you do that, and then you'll have access to that digital material as well. Okay, what do you got, Brittney?
Okay, so I guess I'll start with a favorite. This book is Sweet Maple. It is by Michelle Visser. Really like this. It came out, I think, maybe last year. Very helpful book. with making, like how to tap trees and get your maple sap and turn it into syrup.
Okay.
And like she has a lot of good recipes in there. It's kind of like a, you know, how-to and then a cookbook. She has a recipe in here for her maple scones.
Ooh.
They are delicious. They are, if you've ever come to the farmer's market here in town, they are the ones I sell at the market because they are just so wonderful.
They sound like so like warm and fall.
Oh gosh, yes.
Oh,
So, and also after reading this book, I did not know that maple sugar was a thing. So she tells you
maple sugar. Okay, so you put molasses and regular sugar to get brown sugar. So you add
so basically
syrup.
I have done it once. I followed her book and I did make maple sugar once. Basically you cook it up to like 200 and some degrees and let it sit there, and then take it off the heat and you mix it like with a hand mixer.
Okay.
And it eventually like does this thing.
Is it like frothy?
Not really. It just is just, you're just mixing, and then all of a sudden it starts to get dried out and dried out and dried out.
Like it granulates?
And then it granulates.
What?
So then
Okay, so what do you use it in? Does she give you a recipe?
you can use it in anything. You can use it in place of regular sugar or even brown sugar in your recipes.
I have never heard of this.
It is expensive to buy, and so like I kind of treat it preciously. Like
Okay,
I
so
put it
like
on my oatmeal.
Christmas goodies. Oh, on oatmeal.
Instead of maple syrup on my oatmeal, sometimes I'll do maple sugar. So
Does it store pretty well?
oh yeah, yep.
The things you learn.
Yeah.
Okay, so that recipe's in here?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep, she
I
tells
might
you
have
how
to
do
check
it.
that one out myself.
Maple cream. She also tells you how to make that. That is really good. I've never
Is
made
that
it.
like Cool Whip? Or what would be?
It is like kind of peanut butter. Warm toast. Yep.
That
it
sounds good
is.
too. On scones? Maple scones with maple cream?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, could you
Yeah.
imagine? That would be so good.
So yeah, this is a good one if you're interested in learning how to make your own maple syrup, or you just want the yummy recipes. So.
Can you fan through that one? Let's see what some of the pictures look like. Oh, it is full color.
Yep,
See, I
yep,
told
yep,
you,
yep.
it really does make a difference, I think.
Yes, there are pictures. So there's the
Oh,
scones.
she's a doggy.
Yes. I
It's so
forget what his
cute.
name is, but yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Oh, Bigsby.
Bigsby. That's a good name for a dog.
So yeah.
Cute.
So there's that one.
Want to do another one?
Sure. Okay. So the recipe box by Viola Shipman. This is a fiction book. Sam, who is the main character, lives in northern Michigan. Her family has an orchard and a pie shop. And she really likes to cook and stuff, so she goes to school and becomes a chef, and she also kind of wants to step away from the family business and the orchard and stuff and just kind of do her own thing. Well, as she has gone away, I think to New York, she misses home.
Yeah.
And so she goes back there with a new view on the family business and what the people, especially the women in her life, mean to her. And she takes a new interest in the history of the family, and then they have a recipe box that they pass down from generation to generation.
Oh, I never thought about recipes being like an heirloom.
I never did either, but after reading this book, it did, like, for me, put a new insight on, it would be really neat to collect, any cookbooks or recipes from my great-grandmother and grandmother, and just kind of
My great grandma owned a restaurant, and my grandma has all of her recipes. And that's really cool.
See, that's so special, and I
Yeah,
think
add
we need to
My
preserve
husband's
that.
grandma had a restaurant. For biscuits and gravy, he still asks for. He likes to experiment to try to get closer and closer to grandma's biscuits and gravy. Okay, so this is fiction. Does it have? Is it part of a series? No.
No.
Okay.
Nope. She does have recipes in here, and it does have a slight bit of a romance to it, but it's nothing that overpowers the main story of the book, and just her finding love for cooking with her grandma.
Oh,
So,
I
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And kind of like a local tie with the Michigan tie.
Yeah. So we just have this in the book copy, in the physical copy. Oh, same with Sweet Maple. It's just a book copy. So
That's pretty normal with cookbooks.
Yeah.
Although, do we have cookbooks on Foodie and Overdrive? I haven't even
there are some.
really looked at them.
Yeah.
They browse pretty well.
Yeah.
I noticed we both have Ree Drummond books.
Yes.
So she's got lots. I mean, how many does she have? At least 3, 4? I mean,
Well,
she's
she
got
had
lots of cookbooks,
kids-
but
yeah,
these are
lots
like
of cookbooks. Actually, she's got
biographies.
just two biographies.
Okay. So I was
That's
very
part of your
unfamiliar
Yes.
with Ree Drummond outside of like her kids' books. I always have the kids work in the children's
She wrote
department.
kids' books?
Yeah, she has like the
Charlie.
Charlie the ranch
I
dog.
just know she has dishes.
Oh.
I have a
Pots and
bedspread.
pans.
That sounds really
okay.
bad. No, I have a bedspread that's Ree Drummond brand. But so like I knew of her kids' books, but I never really like watched the TV show. I hadn't read these. And just the cover. I don't know why I'm so drawn to covers. I don't these kind of like look alike?
Yes.
I don't know. They're just like they're whimsical. And this is okay, I should start over. This is Ree Drummond, the pioneer woman's frontiers, follies, adventures in mothers and marriage mothers. Let's try that again. Adventures in marriage and motherhood in the middle of nowhere. And it references her first biography, but this one's like a modern, it's not like a look back. It's like current day, what it's like having a restaurant or cooking show. Did you say
Yeah.
restaurant?
Yeah.
Like what her day-to-day life is like.
Yes.
But I have not read this other one that Brittney's got in her stack, so I can't compare them outside of, that was a look back, this is a modern day. But this one, we have it as a physical book. We also have it as a book on CD and an ebook and an e-audiobook. I listened to the e-audiobook on this one, and she narrates it herself. And when an author narrates their own book, they pause in the right places, they speed up in the right places. She literally like starts laughing at herself as she's reading her own words, and it just brings a whole different feel to a story when you're listening to the author read their own words. Again, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm like this huge mega fan, but I really got into like this marriage of the bantering that her and her husband have and some of the stories that she shares and the tricks that they play on each other. I laughed out loud listening to this book on some of my bike rides. There's like this whole part where they like are joking with each other with rubber snakes, and they go from like these dollar store rubber snakes to like paying hundreds of dollars for realistic snakes that could really be found on their property and hiding them in places where a real snake could be, just to scare each other. And I mean, like, I like to play jokes on people, but this just made me laugh. And then there's another whole story, like miniature story in here about, okay, so the house that they really live in and then the house that they, you say film in?
Yeah.
So like they have like a prop house that they encourage people to come in, that she says, look through the drawers, open up cabinets, see what you can find. And they're two very different houses. Well, some fans, and oh my goodness, if I was the fan and I found out that she wrote about
I
me.
know.
Some fans made it into her real house while she was in the bathtub. And there's this whole story of how she can hear them going through her kitchen and they don't realize that they're in her real house and not her prop house. And again, it just made me laugh. So if you are looking for a great story, it does feature lots of recipes, which is why I went back and I grabbed the physical book so I could make some copies of different things that are listed in here. But anyway, features food, is a foodie memoir, but definitely makes me laugh. So hopefully this will be one that you want to pick up. Again, Frontier Follies we have as a book on CD, an ebook, and e-audiobook in our digital collection. So if you want the physical book, leave us a comment and we can grab that for you. Okay, so talk me into this one.
Okay, so this is Ree's first book, Black Heels to Tractor Wheels. Really good read. she, as Maggie mentioned in her other book, she does have a hilarious side to her. She likes to joke, and she just writes real.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's almost like she's like talking into a recorder, and then like it spits out chapters.
Yeah.
She writes like she talks.
It's just so casual and fun, and I'm fairly certain when I first started here, like 6 years ago, this was the first book I checked out. So, she's open and honest in both of her books.
You read this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's very relaxing. You know, this book, she kind of talks about her and Lad. They're like their first like meeting and dating, and then their first year.
I feel like such opposites
of marriage. So, and then what it was like, you know, she's a city girl, and then she moves out to the middle of nowhere,
literally
on a dirt road in Oklahoma. So it was quite different for her to, you know, just like get acclimated to that type of lifestyle. But I would say after watching her shows and stuff, she's done really well. So, yeah, very good. We just have this in the book.
Does that one have any pictures in it?
I don't think
Not
so.
too many, but I bet like she
Recipes
can
are in
build
the
a
back.
story.
Yeah, no, it's just got, you know, like fun little artwork
doodles.
throughout. Like her cookbooks are all doodled with flowers and stuff. So, yeah,
I like it.
very good. I would recommend reading this one first before that one, just to get the backstory of their early life together. So,
Do another one.
okay. Deep Run Roots. This is a whopper of a cookbook.
Yeah, it's big.
It is very big and very heavy, but it is a very good book to look at. This is Vivian Howard. She does have a TV show on PBS. Yeah, it's very colorful, very, very fun. She kind of throws in a lot of her history where she's from in North Carolina, and like a little bit behind the food, like why they eat how they do and what they eat, and she is funny again, kind of like Ree has that whimsical side when she's like writing a paragraph on a certain food, and she does tend to, I feel like, throw a lot of things together that you wouldn't think go together, like, but it pairs well. Like, she has a recipe in here for a blueberry cobbler, I believe, and it's got a cornmeal crust. Like, blueberries and cornmeal to me don't go together, but they do. I've made it. It's good. So, yeah, we just have this in book form too, but as heavy as it is, it would be nice to have a
digital
book.
copy.
Yeah.
You know, that's where they make photographs of different things. I mean, that's got to be 300, 400 pages. Not the type of book you want to read at night and have drop and break your nose in bed.
No.
That's a whopper.
Cookbooks at night.
Yeah. Brittney does. Brittney reads cookbooks before bed.
Careful what you say there. I may or may not take a few to bed if they're light. Like, this is not a cookbook.
A readable.
But if it's, or like Sweet Maple, definitely take it to bed, read for 10 minutes, and then go to bed. So.
Do you dream of food that way?
No. I'm tired
Say
enough.
that
I need
again.
to go to sleep.
That would make me hungry right before bed.
Okay, do another fiction one here.
Okay. Little Beach Street Bakery by Jenny Colgan. We recently, I think she just has started writing maybe just a few years ago. So our collection of her books have grown. This is like the first one, I believe, in the series. It is a series, the Little Beach Street series. Polly, who is the main character, starts over in a town of Cornwall. So she loves making bread, and then soon it becomes a passion of hers. So she opens a bakery. She meets a local beekeeper. She uses a lot of local, like, sources, local things. And so her and Huckle, which is the beekeeper's name, kind of
like perfect.
Become a thing. So yeah,
Huckleberries.
Huckleberry, yep.
They like draw bees. Okay, never mind.
So It's just a really cute love
It's
story.
cute.
Yeah, really cute. It involves food, so love story food. You can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, every great Hallmark movie is based around a restaurant.
And then also in this book, she does have a few recipes in here. She's got a cinnamon roll recipe that looks really good. Her other books also are really good reads. So, yeah.
Cute.
Good.
Okay, what format? Do we have that just as a physical book?
Ebook and book.
Oh,
So.
perfect.
Yep.
Okay. You got way more than me. Go ahead, do
I
another one.
only got 2 more.
Oh, you already
you
did
want to finish
those.
last, or you
Oh,
want
I
me
don't
to?
care. Whichever.
Brittney do one, Maggie do one, and then Brittney can.
There we go.
Okay. This is another nonfiction book. I gravitate towards nonfiction, as you could probably tell. This is kind of in the midst, like more of the gardening and homesteading books, but she does have recipes in here. It's Animal Vegetable Miracle by Barbara Kingsolver, which you might recognize the name. Barbara Kingsolver is also a fiction author. Her and her husband, I believe, had lived in Virginia area somewhere, and then they moved out to Tucson, Arizona, and after 25 years of being out there, they were like, we're done. We're going back home. Just to be more on the homesteading front of raising their own food, they just felt very driven to get back to the basics. So they, their main goal was to grow their own food, as I said, know a local farmer, just provide for themselves as much as they could for a year, and reduce their carbon footprint, reduce the petroleum in their lives. So, which is good. We all could, take a lesson from that in a way. She also mentions nutrition and nutrition tidbits and where people can buy local food. She'll give you some resources on sourcing that. So, Oh, and one of the other things that Barbara does throughout the book, it is basically set up like a calendar year, like throughout the months, what they eat and how they eat.
So it sounds almost like it's written like a diary, maybe?
Yeah, it is. It is kind of like a biography diary.
Like it's by the seasons.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does. Yep. So they eat by the seasons, and just what's available and what they are doing in that time of their life in that month. Her recipes in here are family favorites, and I think we've got this in book and ebook.
My next book was one that I actually picked up due to a book challenge. This is Tembi Locke. She wrote this memoir. It's a memoir of love, Sicily, and finding home. And I needed a book for one of my reading challenges, and it worked out that this was actually one that was on my to be read list. It's from Reese's Book Club, but from scratch, it's just like what the subtitle says. It's about love and loss. So Tembi goes through the relationship of dating and marrying her husband and then losing him as a really young widow. And they have very different cultures. And so he's from Sicily, and after his death, she really tries hard to ingrain herself in what it's like to be, do you say Sicilian? Mm-hmm. To go back to the culture where he was raised and to give that to their daughter so that she has that focus from her paternal family. So there's very descriptive and emotional parts of the trauma of losing her husband, of infertility and of adoption, of there's lots of cross-culture disagreements and misunderstandings between having language barriers in their family. This is an excellent book full of emotion that I would recommend to anybody. But the fantastic part about this is the back, back 20, 30 pages or so are all recipes in which are included in the book. So they might be mentioned in different chapters, like this specific story or memory happened while we were making XYZ in the kitchen, or things that they made on dates that they would cook together. So it reads like a biography, but these different recipes inside just sound absolutely fantastic. This is again one that I brought back to the library, and I immediately stuck on the photocopier to get the recipe for some of these vegetable pasta dishes. Just sounded amazing. So like you were talking about using foods that are very in season, and that's very, very true to how this one is written as well, because you don't have lots of refrigeration and different things like that in different cultures, so you use what you have available. And the flavors, I almost felt like I started smelling Italian seasonings and stuff like that when I was reading it, just because it was so well described. So anyway, from scratch, we have it as a physical book and as an e-audio book on Libby and Overdrive. But again, you will find yourself crying.
Did you know Netflix picked it up for a limited series?
Neat.
The biography?
I just looked it up. It's going to premiere in 2022.
How do you make a biography? I mean, I guess
Well,
it's a mini-series.
Kind of like a documentary, as like
Just
a mini-series.
Yeah, well, like
Interesting.
James Harriet books are biographies, and well, no, I guess they are nonfiction. And they made a
but
show
mini
out of
stories.
that. Yeah, it's
mean,
like true life mini stories.
It says an American woman falls in love with a Sicilian man while studying abroad in Italy.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
A limited mini-series. So like, I guess they've done that with other books from Reese's Book Club. I'm curious to see how they do that.
That's a Reese
Yeah.
book club book.
Yeah, but Tempe Locke, she's on TV herself. She's like, oh gosh, I'm so bad with my news channels. I'm like one of the mainstream morning shows. She has ties to. So, okay, I know this one is your favorite.
Yes, I'm saving the best for last. The Prairie Homestead Cookbook.
So, Brittney, is that your own copy?
It is.
Because our copy's checked out at the
Yes,
moment.
my copy. The copy here is out. So excuse the cover. I dropped it and it broke. So it's very loose and all kinds of mess. But
It's well
this-
loved.
it is. All-time favorite book. Excellent, excellent. I have made just about every recipe in here and have not had one bad thing. I will say this, Jill's cookbook probably started me down a whole different path in life. Just, I don't know, just her inspiration and her love you could feel for her homestead and just cooking from scratch and stuff. You can feel it in the book. Yes, well, as you know, I liked it, so I had to buy my own copy. It's basically kind of a cookbook and a tip book and then a how-to book. And she has like most of the like animal stuff towards the back. So like there's a pantry list, and then you've got just a few like preservation stuff. Like there's a few things on animals. So like if animals is not your thing, but you like the rest of the book, it doesn't take over the book by any stretch. So yes, very, very
And full color
good.
illustrations
Yes.
again, or
Yep,
photography.
You've got pictures so you can make food.
I love you got like notes and post-its in
Oh
here.
gosh, yes.
Oh, that looks good.
Yes. I do.
Have you ever had fresh basil on pizza? It's amazing.
So
I've ever had
like there's a check mark, so you know I've made that.
You should like write in the margin.
The Wyoming burger, very
What does that
good
say?
burger.
Oh, excellent.
Yep.
What's your favorite recipe out of that book?
Okay, remember you guys, this is her personal copy.
Please don't
Write in our books if at all possible.
Yes. So favorite would be it's like a calzone. So like you can make it two ways, a pizza calzone or like a ham and cheese calzone, or you know whatever you want to stuff in there. So, and then
There it is.
yeah. So ham and cheese
Yeah,
pockets.
amazing! Exclamation point.
Yes.
That does look good.
Wait, okay, they look massive but are actually okay, like proportion.
Yeah. So they look, as you're making them, they look massive, and like there's no way you could eat this thing. But as you're eating it, you're like, it's fine. And then probably the first thing I actually made out of here though was yogurt. I had no idea you could make yogurt. So yes, very good book.
Sounds so weird. I'm just not a big yogurt.
And does she use any like weird equipment?
No, that's the one thing that I like the most about the book.
So like anybody could just go home
yes.
and make these. They
She-
don't have to have an
it's
instant
basic
pot or a-
pantry ingredients, simple, staple food, and
Nice.
that's the way I cook, and a majority of us cook.
Yeah.
So it's well worth the purchase.
Oh, I love this. So our physical copy of the Prairie Homestead is currently checked out, but by all means we can put it on hold for you when it comes back, and then we can give you a call or an email when it's available. Do we have that one in any other formats?
I don't think so. I didn't make a note.
Didn't make a
Sorry.
note. Okay, no, that's okay. So again, we do have multiple formats in some of these books. We'll leave a comment with all of the titles that we mentioned today, along with the formats that we have available in our Napanee Public Library collection. This was a live reader's advisory posted right onto our Facebook page, but if you watch it, what do you say, archived?
Catch the recording.
There you go. If you catch the recording later, you'll be able to skip through to see those comments in the bottom so you know the specific titles that we're mentioning. This was episode 20. Next time that we get together, we're going to be doing books with local ties. So you think shop local, read local. So these are going to be authors from Indiana, stories and settings that take place in Indiana, and other fun trivia. So I think that's it for now. Thank you for joining us. Again, let us know if any of these books interest you, and we'd be happy to set them aside. Till next time, bye.